All right, let's talk about something we all do, probably more often than we'd like to admit, online shopping. But have you ever stopped to think about what actually happens when you click that Buy button? It feels like magic, right? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and follow that entire journey, from your screen all the way to the AI-driven future that's already knocking on our door.
So here's the plan. First, we'll look at the huge shift to digital that's completely changed how we live. Then, we're going to dissect an online purchase to see all the moving parts. We'll get into the tech that makes it all run, talk about the risks involved, and look at the cloud, which is the engine for pretty much everything. And finally, we'll peek into the future at the next wave of tech. I mean, seriously, just think about your morning today. Did you use an app to order coffee, or maybe grab a ride? Those little taps on your phone are perfect examples of this massive, quiet revolution. The old manual ways of doing things, they've been almost completely replaced by digital systems we carry around in our pockets.
And this is such a great way to see that change. It used to be all about face-to-face, 9-to-5 business in a physical store. Now, it's screen-to-face, 24/7, from anywhere in the world. But the biggest deal here is the power shift. The whole market flipped from being about the supplier to being all about you, the customer. Your demand drives everything now.
Okay, so the whole world's gone digital. We get it. But let's get into the nitty-gritty. What really happens in those few seconds between your click and getting that order confirmed email? Let's trace the path of a single online purchase.
On the surface, it looks super simple, right? You pick something, you pay for it, it shows up. But behind the scenes, it's this incredibly complex ballet. Your order zips through a secure payment gateway, your bank has to give the okay, that confirmation then flies to a warehouse where someone finds your item, and then it's handed off to a delivery company. So much has to go right. So what's the end game here? Why go through all this trouble? Well, it's all for you. The entire system is built to give you more power. You save time, you have endless options to choose from, you can see what thousands of other people think before you buy, and all that competition in the market helps bring prices down.
Okay, but how does all this magic actually happen? What's the invisible machinery humming away in the background that makes every click, every search, every single purchase possible? Let's peel back the curtain and look at the tech backbone. And right at the center of it all are the apps on your phone. For billions of us, they're the main door to the internet. And that entire world, that entire app ecosystem, pretty much runs on a duopoly. It's a two-horse race. Google's Android and Apple's iOS. Their dominance is so complete that they literally set the rules for how businesses have to build things and how we interact with them.
Now, behind those apps, the way they're built has changed a ton. Back in the day, systems used a simple two-tier model. Basically, your phone or computer talked directly to the main database. It was a direct line. But as more and more people came online, that became super slow and honestly pretty insecure. So they came up with a much smarter three-tier system. This three-layer setup was, and I'm not exaggerating, a total game changer. You've got the presentation layer, that's what you see. It talks to a middle application layer, that's the brains, and only that middle layer is allowed to talk to the database, where all the important stuff is kept. This makes it way more secure. But the really cool part is scalability. If there's a huge sale, they can just spin up more application servers. It's like opening more checkout lanes at the grocery store. It's why a website can handle millions of people all at once and not just fall over.
But of course, with all this data and money flying around, there's a dark side. We're talking about billions of transactions, tons of personal information. It's not all sunshine and convenience. We have to talk about the dangers and how to stay safe.
And we're talking about some serious stuff here. You've got hackers constantly trying to steal data. You have these massive denial-of-service attacks that can just shut a business down. And then there are these weird problems, like how do you prove who someone is online? What stops someone from buying something and then just claiming, nope, wasn't me?
So that begs the big question, right? How do companies even begin to protect us and themselves from all these threats? What kind of defenses can they even put up?
Well, the thing is, there's no single magic shield. Real security is all about layers. It starts with the basics, having clear policies and following the law. Then you get to the tech, things like firewalls to block intruders, constantly updating software to fix any holes, and maybe most important of all, encrypting your data. That way, even if someone steals it, all they get is a bunch of useless, scrambled nonsense.
So where does all this stuff live? I mean, it's not in a server room in the back of the store anymore. For basically every modern company, the answer is the invisible powerhouse that runs our entire digital world, the cloud.
And cloud computing sounds complicated, but it's a pretty simple idea. Instead of buying and running your own computers and servers, you just rent computing power over the internet. It's like electricity. You don't build your own power plant, you just plug into the grid and use what you need.
And this cloud thing comes in a few different flavors. The best way to think about it is pizza. Seriously. Infrastructure as a service, or IaaS, is like they give you the flour, water, and an oven. You make the pizza yourself. Platform as a service, PaaS, is like they give you a ready-made pizza crust and the toppings. You just put it together and bake it. And then there's software as a service.
SaaS is like having a hot pizza delivered right to your door. It's the finished product. And that's the one you're probably using every single day without even thinking about it. Anytime you use Google Drive or your email in a web browser or some online tool without downloading anything. Yep, that's SaaS.
Okay, so that's the here and now, but what's next? What's on the horizon? Well, there are two massive technologies, the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence, that are about to build on top of all this in ways that are just mind-boggling.
First up, you've got the Internet of Things, or IoT. This is all about making everyday objects smart. Just imagine your water purifier at home. What if it could tell when its own filter was getting dirty? And instead of you having to check, it just connects to your Wi-Fi and automatically sends a message to the service company to schedule a replacement. That's the promise of IoT.
And then you have the big one, AI. This is where we take a giant leap. We go from machines that just follow the instructions we give them to machines that can actually learn, reason, and adapt on their own. It's about giving them the ability to solve problems in a way that looks a lot like how we humans think.
And look, this isn't sci-fi stuff happening in 50 years. It's already woven into our lives. It's the brain inside a self-driving car. It's helping doctors spot diseases earlier. It's the reason Google Search feels like it can read your mind. And it's the voice of assistants like Siri that we talk to every day.
But as this tech gets smarter and smarter, it's understandable that some pretty big fears and questions pop up. In fact, one of the sources we reviewed put it really bluntly, saying we have to be careful because otherwise we might just lose control of the very machines we're creating.
And that really leaves us with the million-dollar question, doesn't it? As these incredibly smart technologies become more and more a part of our daily lives, what does that future relationship between humans and machines actually look like? Is it a partnership, or is it something else? That's a question we're all going to have to answer together.